stuff out of the way. The next part of this build I know how to do this myself. I'm just trying to follow the book. Next part tells you to put this put the charging handle together. But if I am correct, where's the charging handle? There it is. The charging handle is pre-built already, so you don't have to do this. Like I said, a lot of the stuff in here, or not a lot, but some of the steps in here have already been done for you kindly by G&P. Oops, sorry about that. So there's a few other steps that's going to tell you to do that you don't need to do. Probably just show you right now. But yeah, the charging handle has already been put together. These charging handles can snap. My original one snapped right here. You can use real steel charging handles. The only thing you have to do is, on a real steel charging handle, there's little nubs right around here that fits into a slot in the upper receiver. This G&Ps don't have. WE does have them. Maybe some other brands do, but G&P, they don't have a slot inside the upper receiver for the little raised bumps here. So you would have to grind that down to make it to fit. But you can use real steel charging handles. I have a real steel charging handle after the stock one broke. Real steel charging handles are sometimes cheaper than airsoft ones and usually made a little bit higher quality. But this one's nice. It comes with an extended latch, unlike a regular style M4, M16 would come with. This one's extended and has a nice bump here to get a better grip on. So that's nice. Not only do they give you some upgraded parts, but it comes assembled already. So that would be this step, or the next step. Step after that would be to put the bolt and charging handle into the upper receiver. I really don't understand why they make you do that during this step. You can save this step for last, but we'll follow what G&P says. It would be smart to lube the. It would be smart to lube it. Put some. You don't want to use silicone oil; it's a little too light. I usually use. It's called CLP. Clean, lubricate, and protect is what it stands for. That's what you usually use on real steel firearms. Did the clip fall off of here? Oh no. Where'd the clip for the dust cover go? I put it on. Fell off. Oh shit. That's gonna be a pain to find. I mean, obviously, you can still shoot the gun without the dust cover, but having a dust cover is nice. And sadly, my donor rifle doesn't have the E-clip because I stole it for my M4, and I cannot find this E-clip anywhere. That's I'm gonna get rid of some of this garbage up here. Uh-oh. That sucks. Can't. I put it on. You guys saw me put it on. And oh no. that sucks. I did put it on. Did it really fall off? That sucks. It really does. Who knows what size that E-clip is? Alright, well, just be careful not to lose the dust cover. Alright, so it tells you to put the bolt and charging handle into the gun. It's also going to tell you to put the front sight post inside of the front sight assembly. That is already done, so you don't have to do that. That's already done. They already did that for you. Like I said, I'm not going to be using the front sling swivel, but you do need some parts from here. You're going to need the 2 big pins to secure the front sight post, which you're basically only going to need these 2 big pins and this little grub screw. So I'm going to put this grub screw in here because I don't want to lose that. So, since they're talking about the front sight post, it's safe to assume that they're going to want us to put the front sight post onto the barrel. But before you can do that, let me pull this up. Before you can do that, one, you need to put the barrel nut on. You need to put, this is for the M4 barrel, but it's pretty much the same thing except different length barrel. What I like to do is to put the D-ring with the spring and clip onto the barrel nut first. You don't have to put it on after you put the barrel nut, put the whole front together. So I'm gonna do that this way. So move this stuff aside. And keep on the lookout for that E-clip. It's somewhere in here on this table, I would assume. I just don't know where it went. Now, this is pretty much the barrel nut D-ring assembly. You have the barrel nut, you have the D-ring, you have the spring, and then you have this clip. And this clip goes in this big C-clip, I guess you call it, goes into this notch here. Now it's kind of a pain in the ass because the spring is going to be putting pressure on the clip. The clip, if you don't have the right tool to use it, it looks like a plier that's needle nose, and the needles go like that, so it goes like this, so you can spread them apart. If you don't have that, and I don't have that, you can use some regular pliers, and you'll see me how I do it. It would be a lot easier if you had said pliers that I mentioned earlier. So anyway, you're just going to want to get the rear of the clip, the bottom, which is the opposite from the top. You want to get that into that groove on the barrel nut. Then with your pliers, you want to take one end of the clip and you're going to want to pull it. Like I said, it's kind of hard. So you get the clip, the bottom of the clip, into the groove. Then with the needle nose pliers or whatever pliers you have, it's going to take a lot of force. You're going to pull this back and over, push it into the groove, like so. So you have not in the groove, and then you have in the groove. And you should do the same for the opposite side. get a good grip on it, pull away and pull down and get into the groove. It's not that hard. Make sure it's in the groove though. So just press down a little bit, make sure it's in the groove. Once you get it in the groove, you're good. So it can sometimes be a pain in the ass. I've done it a few times, so it's gotten easier. So you got that. So you can take that, and with the teeth of the barrel nut, these teeth right here, that's going to be facing towards the muzzle end. That's going to go over, boom. So it's going to look like that. Then next, you're going to want to get the, let's see where it is. Which baggie is that in? I believe it's in the bag with the handguards. So, in this bag with the handguards, you're going to have a metal disc. Here we go. I'm not using these, I'm using the 12-inch. These are 9-inch for M4. This disc is what holds the handguards in the front on. If I can get this together. So, the front gets held into place on the barrel with this. And in the back, this ring goes inside of the lip of the D-ring, the outside. That's why it's spring-loaded. So you'll see how that goes together once I get the barrel onto the rifle. So this, make sure you don't put it on backwards. So this is backwards. This is what you don't want. It has to go this way. That's how it goes on. Then, on the M4 barrel, these lines, I'm totally blanking on the word, these cutouts will go all the way around the barrel, which is kind of stupid, because when you put the pins in, you could put the pins in with the front sight posed totally upside down, which is what my friend did when he was assembling his. I had to kind of point out that, nah. So, but those notches are at the bottom, which line up with these holes for the pins. So, now, here, I'm going to show you something. In these holes, you already got, I guess for when they drilled a hole through here, they didn't clean it out, so they will have some sort of metal flakes in there. So you're just going to want to just sort of push those out and clean those out, just so when you put your pins in, it's nice and clear. See, it's a piece of metal in there. I guess from machining and all that, it just, a piece of metal gets stuck. So you're going to want to push that out. See, now it's clear. So put it back on your barrel. These cutouts or notches go to the bottom. Front side goes over. Should line up with the holes. And then the two pins that I just had, there they are, go in. Now, these little lines at the end, that's the top of the pin, I guess you can call it. That goes, that's at the top. The one end that doesn't have them, that's what you insert first. These little lines are basically little like not even a millimeter tall, but they're just tall enough so that when you punch these through, these lines will actually help keep these pins in place. So pop one pin in. Get it? There we go. See, these pins actually go in pretty easily. That's why they have the little lines in it that's stamped. It's little raised, little raised lines. So those go in pretty easily. you can actually do it with your fingers. I'm just gonna do this off camera a little bit, just hammer them down. Now, here's the thing. This cutout down here is supposed to be at the bottom. That's where your hop-up adjustment wheel will be to adjust your hop-up. So, to make sure everything's lined up, you can look down and to make sure the bayonet lug or the bottom of the gas block is pretty lined up with the cutout window for the hop-up. You can... Don't be worried if that once you get these pins all the way through, if you get the pins all the way through, your sight will still be able to move around a little bit. It can move left to right. And that's why they have included a little set screw. That little set screw is there so once you get it all lined up and straight, once you get everything lined up and straight, you can take the little small set screw, put it through this hole, and tighten it. And when that does, is it stops it from the sight post moving left to right on the barrel. I'm gonna wait till I get the receiver on, so I can look down the rear iron sight and make sure everything's lined up. I don't really use the iron sights on this gun. Obviously, one, this is going to be a DMR, but if I have to, I'm only going to be using the iron sights for close range. So if the front sight post is to the left or right just a little bit and not perfect, it shouldn't throw off my shots too much at close range. I just need it mostly straight so it looks good. That's pretty much it. But it's pretty straight right now. So I'm just going to put this set screw in right now. I'm just going to put it in right now just so I don't lose it, even though it's in this baggie. It's still so small in the bag that you might just think the bag is empty. So now the trick is, once you get everything lined up on the barrel, you could drill with a really small drill bit, divot through the hole. So you take your drill bit and your drill and just drill a little hole, but make sure the drill bit is a lot smaller than the hole, because if your drill bit is the same size as the hole, you could risk drilling out the threads, and then it's pretty much useless. But what that does, if you create a little divot with the drill bit in the barrel, once you put the set screw in, it really secures it and stops the barrel from being able to shift side to side. Or not the barrel, stop the front side post from shifting side to side. Now, I just have to find... Yeah, there we go. This was the right size Allen key, which is very hard to get in. So, just thread it, screw it down. You could use Loctite if you want. There's not much vibrations. Plus, it's already pretty stiff, the hole, because of the powder coating that they use. Makes the tolerances a little off, but so I don't think you would need to use Loctite. If you want to be extra safe, you can. So make sure everything's still lined up. Yeah, everything looks lined up good enough. I can torque this down. Just be careful not to strip the screw or strip the threads on the screw or the front sight post. You don't want to torque it down all like really tight. You just want to get it torqued down just enough. So there you go. It's in. You won't really be able to tell that it's in there. So this is pretty much done. Next thing that we are going to assemble will be the hop up. And I actually think I skipped a step. No, I didn't. It goes straight from building the upper receiver, building the bolt, putting the barrel together, it is missing a step. That is weird. let me count, maybe they're 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wow, they're missing a step in this booklet. I have a booklet for my old one. Does this even show it either? It doesn't. What page is it on? Ah. The instructions to assemble the hop-up and inner barrel is on the first page. So, let's get that started. I got the new tight bore inner barrel by Angel Custom. Let's see, Angel Customs SUS 304. It's a 6.01 inner diameter. This is for the WA gas blowback M16 or M4 rifles. WA and G&P are G&P is pretty much a clone of the WA system. So if you're looking for parts for your G&P, just look for WA as well in case if you can't find what you're looking for. So the tube it comes in is a very, very sturdy. It's a very sturdy tube. I'm trying to bend it right now. It's very sturdy. I'd say the wall of this tube is 2 millimeters, and it being a circle also creates a lot of strength. So that's good because you don't want your hop up or your inner barrel to come bent. Now this is stainless steel, so it is stronger than the stock inner barrel, which is brass. Brass is very soft. It can bend. Obviously you have the outer barrel to protect it, but you know, when you're taking your gun apart, maybe you drop it or something. This is very soft metal. But this is stainless steel. You can definitely tell that this is a lot heavier, not just because it's a longer length, but I think even if it was the same length as the M4, it is a lot heavier. It comes with plugs. If I can get this in camera, so long. It comes with plugs at the end of the barrel. This is the muzzle end. Has a crown, a slight crown to the inside of the barrel. Helps with stability of the BB when it comes out. The other end had this plug that was there, but yeah. So the only difference between other gas blowback rifles from other companies or AEG inner barrels is the cutouts for O-rings and the hop-up bucking, and the cutouts for the notches for when it fits into the hop-up unit are located in different areas. AEGs typically, no matter what brand it is, are usually the same. Gas blowback rifles is where they really differ. A lot of companies use different cutouts. WE, for instance, is not the same as GMP/WA, or the Tokyo Marui, I think, are different as well. You can modify other inner barrels to fit. I didn't want to do that since I'm not when it comes to these tolerances, this, like, it's better to have it made by an actual company than to try to do it yourself, because if you're really looking for accuracy, you don't want to really do it yourself unless if you have the skill set. And for inner barrels, I don't have that skill set. I'll leave it to professionals for inner barrels. But yeah, this feels really hefty. It's a little bit dirty. What to expect? It looks really straight. I don't see no bends. The inside is polished. Yeah, straight, polished. It's just a little bit of dirt inside, but that's expected. When I clean my rifle, I'll run some swabs through it, and it should clean right out. But yeah, let's get on to the build. So, let me try to shift the camera this way. If I can. That's good enough. Your hop-up assembly and everything comes in one bag. You got the actual hop-up assembly right here. This is your hop-up adjustment wheel. So this is your hop-up assembly. Inside the bag, you also get the chamber of the gun, which mocks the actual chamber on a real M4, M16. This is where the nozzle goes in. This right here is where the BB gets pushed up into the chamber. So this will go over the housing. Let me see if I can just get it downward. There we go. You get your bag, another little baggie inside of the bag. This build is pretty much bagception. It's bag within a bag within a bag. You have a little spring for the hop-up lever, which is this. Get your hop-up bucking. You get some small O-rings. These two go on in these lines right here to help keep the housing together if you take it out of the chamber, but it also helps by keeping the chamber. It helps create a gas tight seal on the chamber. So here we go. First step you're going to want to do is put the bucking on the inner barrel. So pretty much how it goes is that this little cutout divot window is centered on the cutout on this, if that makes sense. So just put it over, make sure it's aligned. Boom. Then you push it all the way on. Now I do believe that the outer diameter of this inner barrel, the outer diameter is a bit larger than the stock. I don't have my calipers on me, so I can't really test it out. But one, it feels like it. And two, I have heard from reviews that it is, which might be an issue right now. Because it creates quite a bulge. Yeah, it does create quite a bulge. This bulge right here is kind of worrying me. It doesn't want to fit inside of here. So, two options. We can grind this down, or we can cut the hop-up rubber. Wait a minute. I don't think... I think the hop-up rubber is just supposed to stay... Oh, wait. Wait. Wait a minute. Let's see. I think... Let me look at this picture. I'm not so good at assembling. Okay. It's the wrong way, that's why. It goes like that. The nub on the hop-up goes there. No, that's not right either, is it? No, that's not right. Am I doing something wrong here? I am. I was right. There we go. That's the wrong way. Okay, so the hop-up rubber, that nub, goes towards this way. I don't know how to. Towards the end of the barrel. You make sure that this little divot right here is perfectly lined up this way. Then it just, boom, snaps right on. Then it goes into your chamber, like so. So this cutout here will fit, or this bump right here will fit into the cutout up top, and then this piece of rubber will fit into that right there. So if you don't get it properly aligned, or you have it the wrong way, it won't fit together. This does. And the next step, once you get that assembled, is take a little spring. Man, this barrel's so long, I don't have the space on my table for it. Clear some space. There we go. Once that's in place, this little spring goes, and then where is it? Where is it? Come on, show me. There you go. That little hole is where this little spring goes. So right in there. And then, like so, I'll get a close up once I get it in. I can get it in. I'm gonna need a very small Allen key to get this. This is so much more difficult with a longer inner barrel. There we go. So it goes. Damn it, don't come out. It goes like, damn it. It's so hard to do this on film. I'll just do it without the inner barrel in. But it goes like this. Pretty much, it's like this. I'm not going to try to explain it. Pretty much, when you turn the hop-up adjustment wheel, it will push this part of the lever up, which will then push, or will then transfer that energy at the focal point down on this part. So this part goes up to adjust the hop-up, which pushes down on this part, which will push down on the rubber, and so create more of a bump inside the inner barrel to create more backspin on the BB, which is called hop-up. So when this arm goes up, it adjusts the hop-up up. So be careful, you don't want this spring-loaded lever arm to pop out and get lost. If your gun doesn't have hop-up, you're going to get very poor accuracy and range. And the spring came out a little bit, didn't pop out all the way. Just got to get this back in. It's a pretty heavy spring for such a small little spring. It's very there's a lot of pressure in it. So get that spring back in there. There we go. Then carefully, I'm literally dripping sweat right now. Boom. That's together. Then, like I said, these two big O-rings go in these grooves. One, it helps keep the hop-up unit together. If you take it out, it also helps create some of a gas seal within the inner and outer barrel assembly. Oops, it's hot. This is the hop-up adjustment wheel. You just slide it over the end of the barrel. Now I have heard, and this is correct, that the new inner and outer barrels, the new outer barrel, or the Angel Custom, is a larger outer diameter, which means this won't fit in. So I have to grind this out a little bit somehow. I'm probably just gonna, with a knife, blade, just a little bit, get some of that. Bring down some of that diameter. It doesn't matter if it's snug. If it's snug on the outer barrel, that's a good thing. That means that the hop-up will be less likely to adjust by itself. Sometimes with rapid shooting, the vibration can make the hop-up readjust itself, which it's not with certain guns. It's not so hard to change the hop-up or adjust it. Sometimes you just need a small Allen key and insert it in the hole in the gun. Like this case, you just take the bottom hand guard off and you can adjust it by just spinning it through that little window I showed earlier. This definitely could be done better with a Dremel, but there we go. So long, this barrel. So sticks on this way. This part goes towards the lever right here, and I'll show you how it works. That lever sits on top of here, so when you turn this wheel, you can see is that it's like a ramp, and as you turn it, it will push that lever up, which, like I said, makes the hop-up go up. So this is no hop up, and all the way. It gives you a little diagram right here. It shows that it's getting larger and larger, and then here it goes small again. It didn't line up at all. But yeah, let me show you. So make sure that you put the smallest part, which is right here, underneath the arm, right there. So when you turn it, it pushes up. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. It's pushing it up. Yeah, you can tell. So that's how that works. Then this medium O-ring right here goes, let me pull this off again, goes in this groove. That pretty much just keeps the the hop up adjustment dial from slipping out. So you just stick the O-ring, just push it down until it gets into that groove. You might, well, it just automatically went into the groove, but sometimes you need to sort of poke it in with a Allen key. Then the smallest O-ring goes, they don't have it on this barrel, but the smallest O-ring at the end of the outer barrel is a little cutout for the O-ring, and what that does is it helps keep the barrel centered in the outer barrel. But I think you don't need it on this outer barrel, the new one, because this outer barrel, like I said earlier, is already thicker in the outside diameter. So before I get ahead of myself, let me make sure the hop up is in the right orientation. Yep, hop up unit's working fine. Now, this is going to be hard to film. Let me raise the camera up. Actually, I forgot to do a step. So, there's only one way you can put this in. You see there's this little notch right there. And on the outside of the hop up unit, right here, is a raise. So, pretty much there's only one way this hop up unit can go in, is that's when you line up this bump with a notch in there. So there you go, that's in. Then next, you take your outer barrel and you see these notches here. Those notches line up with these notches, but remember, the bottom of your hop-up unit is this part right here. This is where the BB gets pushed up into the chamber. So this is the bottom right here with the little ramp is the bottom. As you can see, put it in, you have these little notches right here which fit into there. So you can put this unit in upside down. It won't load or anything, so you gotta make sure that if you look down, front side post is lined up with the top. The next thing you do is take your upper receiver. Wow, this is gonna be really, really hard to film. Barrel's so long. You're gonna take your barrel nut, you're gonna bring it back. Push the chamber and barrel in, and it's gonna line up like so. And then you're gonna screw the barrel nut on with a clockwise thread. Helps if you keep the gun straight up. And you just thread it. is. Now, you can spin it with the D-ring, but just remember, the D-ring is actually only held on with a spring. So to actually torque and tighten this down, this is where the AR wrench is useful once again. So what you do is you line it up. These prongs right here, or you can use these. I tend to use these because they're a little bit longer, so you don't have to push down on the D-ring. If you use this side, you have to not only push down the D-ring or hold the D-ring down. So you can use that side, but I tend to like to use, well, somehow get this lighting better. There we go. Line this all up and just really torque it down. Make sure everything is straight. Good. It's a little bit off, but like I said, if you do that mod where you drill the hole, it'll be good. So, that's straight enough for me. I'm not gonna actually use it as a front sight. Yeah, this video is already 47 minutes long, so next video I'm going to show you how to put on the flash suppressor and put the handguards on and put everything together.